why you need a managing agent and how they can help you get started. So we first started in property investing in Southwest Wales, lovely little town around Neath, and surrounding areas. The reason for using a managing agent in the area is because we weren't expert. We didn't live there. We didn't know trades. We didn't know the market really. When we started, we were leaning on these people's expertise. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth properties that you're getting, absolutely continue to use a managing agent. But there will come a point, if you're truly scaling your portfolio, where you're seeing, I don't know, £5,000 of rental come in each month and £500 go out to the managing agent, plus whatever maintenance on top each month, for really being a telephone service. So absolutely they're brilliant to get started, but as you're starting to scale, you need to be thinking about bringing that role in-house, having someone that's in the area, that's got boots on the ground, that can help with this, and allows you to provide a much better service for a much lower cost. That is a problem for much later, after you've scaled. But in the early days, managing agents can be fantastic. On standard buy-to-let, they're going to come in somewhere between 8 and 10% plus VAT, don't forget that. With HMOs, again, good management is probably going to cost you around 20% plus VAT again. Look, there's all sorts of different ways of fee structures, certainly the HMO market, which I won't come to because many more people can speak on it much better than I can in terms of managing agents. Shout out to Russ and Lucy at Rent a Room in Coventry and Eton. But with regards to using a managing agent just for your first few couple of buy-to-lets, they're fantastic. They're going to know the market, they're going to know what the market rent is. They're going to be a barrier between you and the tenant, which early on can be fantastic. They're going to help you understand what's a good tenant, what's not so good a tenant. Look, grill these people, ask them who is the best type of borrower in this demographic. So you're going to have people that are looking for much longer term income. From our side, when we're looking for single families in those properties, we're looking for young-ish families, but not immediately young. We're looking for mum and dad to be 35 plus, and we're looking for young children that are looking around the local schools, ideally, and they're going to be there for the next 5, 10, 15 plus years as a single tenant, especially if a child is just starting at a local primary, 5, 6 years old. The likelihood is they're going to be there until they're 10, 11 years old, so not to interrupt school. So yeah, think about these things, and you'll be able to make sure that you get a long-term tenant in rather than the first tenant that's prepared to pay the highest price. Especially in the market at the moment, it is a landlord's market. Landlords can afford to be picky. Just be patient. Don't jump at the first person that walks through the door. What else are managing agents so fantastic for? They try to stay on top of regulation. Look, they're doing this every single day. So when you are starting out, they're definitely going to be the expert in your echo chamber. But eventually, if you're owning 15, 20 properties within a single postcode, you're going to have an idea of what market rents are, who's looking for what, which properties on which streets are flying off and which aren't. So getting that understanding, you do need to stand on the shoulders of giants before you can get to that point. So working with a managing agent early is exactly what I would suggest doing. We continue to work with ours, but we are going to get to a point shortly where the portfolio is scaled to a point where it's not worth paying 10% of that rental roll to a managing agent to act as a telephone service. Ultimately, we should be looking at bringing that service in-house. It means that the tenant's going to get a better service because there's going to be one person looking after those houses rather than those houses being a portion of a much wider letting agent's portfolio. We manage our HMOs in-house because we're local to the area. We've got family are in the area, so when we're managing our HMOs in Gloucestershire, we're close enough to be able to help, and we've got trades and friends that we can lean on for management and maintenance. Down here in London, coming to let Tooting shortly, hopefully in the next 4 weeks. That portfolio is going to be managed in-house as well by James and myself. We're doing that because London's quite a competitive market, especially at the moment. People are looking for 2 and 3 year tenancies, so there's not going to be a huge amount of work, huge amount of changeover with those tenants. Okay, sure, when you get to truly scale, then it's a very different conversation. Look, if you're managing 20 units here, maybe you bring someone in-house, but 20 London houses, that's 20 grand a month. 10% of that is 2 grand a month. Do you really want to be giving that up? Could you hire someone in? Could you do the work yourself for a 2 grand a month saving? There's all these considerations that are going to be specific to a demographic. Now, some people, 2 grand a month isn't worth their time. To other people, 2 grand a month would make all of their financial problems go away. So it is massively down to the individual's situation, their time commitment, and also what they want to be doing. If every day, you're dealing with tenants you might not want to, but in our world, tenants get a bit of a bad rap, but it's less than 10% of the time that you're looking at dealing with tricky or difficult tenants, and for the majority, it's a fantastic line of work to be in. So that's why we use a managing agent for our portfolio that's 350 miles away. Close proximity stuff, we're a bit more hands-on, but there will come a point when we're looking to hire in support there, or we're pushing it off to an external party, a third-party letting agency to look after us. But my personal preference, when you're just starting out and you're 350 miles away from the property and you need that barrier between you and the tenants and a little bit of guidance from maybe a bit of a Rottweiler of a letting agent to make sure you're not getting messed about, absolutely, letting agents, managing agents are going to be your number one source of a headache solver. As you scale, you want to be bringing that in-house, because if you've got a £10,000 rent roll, £1,000 a month could be a part-time employee, self-contractor that's going to be able to look after your portfolio to a much higher standard than one of the girls or boys in the office, which are running around like headless chickens on a razor-thin margin business model of a letting agency. So food for thought there, but start at the start using them, learn from them, understand why they pick certain types of tenants in certain areas. And as you grow, the portfolio you'll have options to then bring that service in-house and truly scale. So that's my thoughts on a managing agent.